All right. All right. I don't need anybody else to join me. No. No. All right. I really am waiting. I talk to myself for a little while, which is nothing new for those that know me. All right, so it is 6:33, and I said I was going to start this at 6:30, so I'm going to try to be consistent and try to be punctual and all that fun good stuff, because nobody wants to sit here and see me sit and wait and get myself together, which I mostly did before I started, so that's good. Y'all, if you see me pouring a sweat, it's because it's very hot in this room, and I have the door closed so that my toddler does not come in and attack me while I'm trying to do this. So in order to be toddler free, I'm kind of shut up in this hot little room. I do have a fan going and a ceiling fan going and the air is on, but for some reason, I guess the light is still making me very hot. So if I look like a crazy sweaty person, that's what's going on. So hello and welcome. My name is Diana, and I am a licensed real estate agent in the state of North Carolina in the Triad, which is not the Triangle. The Triangle is Raleigh-Durham, Chapel Hill. The Triad is in the Piedmont, and it is Winston-Salem, Greensboro, and High Point in the surrounding areas. So what I wanted to do was to start coming on and doing some live feeds in order to answer some questions that people have asked me, or to give tips and things like that involving real estate, because a lot of people have seen it from the outside. They've seen buying houses or selling houses on TV, but if you've never owned a house, then you've never sold a house, and obviously you've never bought a house, so you've only seen that process from the outside. So you would have a lot of questions before you even think about trying to get involved in it. You know, is it good for me? Is it going to work? And all those different kinds of questions. So what I'm hoping to do is to do a series of answering questions and giving tips that will make it easier for you to decide if it's time to buy or if it's time to sell, and also help you to make the connection of why you might need the help of a qualified real estate agent such as me, or all of the awesome people on my team. Premier Group of eXp Realty. What's up? Hey family. So, rather than ramble on like a crazy person, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Tonight, I wanted to talk about first timers. First timers. And when people talk about first timers in the real estate world, you're usually hearing about first time home buyers. You hear that all the time. There's probably shows on specific networks dedicated to first time home buyers. You hear it all the time. There's all these programs for them. There's down payment assistance for first time home buyers. Everything is geared towards and catered towards first time home buyers. However, there are other people, and there is another group of first timers that doesn't really get the same love and support that first time home buyers get. So I want to talk a little bit tonight to my first time home sellers. Hello, people who already own homes, who are thinking about selling them, who have never sold a home before. Man, there is a whole lot that goes into selling a house that you don't know, and you don't know that you don't know it until you get started in it, okay? So that's kind of what be the main focus of what I want to talk about tonight is what's up with the first time home sellers. How can someone who's thinking about selling their home know that they're on the right track and that they're doing the right thing? Okay? So, tip number 1 for first timers, first time home sellers, is manage your emotions. Okay? So let's think about it. Let's think about all the times that we've seen on these different networks of people selling their houses. And, you know, they're thinking about it. That was the home they grew up in. And that's the home they had their first children in. They got married in that home. Their granddad built that home. There's so many different layers and levels of emotions and connection that people have with the homes that they live in. There's so many memories that were made in those houses. You know, every wall, every room, you can think of a story. You can think of a situation. You're attached to that house. But here's the thing. You are attached to that house. Those are your memories. And so your emotions are connected to your memories and your experiences in that house. Who is not attached to that house? Who doesn't have those memories and that connection that you have? Anybody that's coming in to buy the house. They don't have your memories. They don't have your experiences. I'm going to be counting with my janky fingernail polish up here, and it's well past time to take this off. So I'm going to keep my hands down here, or turn them this way so y'all can't see how bad my nail polish is, okay? There we go. So they don't have your memories. They don't have your experiences, right? And when they buy your house, they're not buying those. They're not buying your memories. They're not buying your experiences. They are not buying how you feel about your house. So, if you go into the process of trying to sell your house with all these emotions and all these feelings going on the inside about your house, they're going to come out from the inside into the outside, and they are going to affect your process. They are going to affect how you list your house. They're going to affect probably how you price your house. And pricing your house correctly is going to be another video. But emotions affect where you think you should price your house and what you think your house is worth. And let me give you a secret. The market decides what your house is worth. Okay, but anyway, we'll get to that later. So if you have a buyer coming in to look at your house, 9 times out of 10, they are coming in looking at it through what experience can they build in the house? What memories can they build in the house? What attachment can they put on the house? And if your emotions are stopping some things from happening that need to happen in order to sell your house, A, quickly, and B, for the most that you can expect to get out of it in that market, then they're not doing you any good. They're not doing you any favors. They're actually hindering you and hindering the selling process. So, what's an example of your emotions getting the better of you and getting involved in the house selling process and gumming up the works? Okay, so here's an example. This is the first home that you've owned. Nobody in your family owned a home before you bought your home. You were the first homeowner in your family. You're very proud. You worked hard and you bought this home. You lived there with your family, with your new little babies, and you raised them. They got the little marks on the wall showing how high they grew for all of the kids and all of that kind of stuff. Now, let's say maybe they are going to be going off to college and you need a smaller place. So you need to downsize. When you go to list your home on the market, you want to find that special couple, that special young couple who's fits exactly what you did when you bought the house, who has the same goals, who wants to live there and treasure the house and love it the same way that you did and build their memories and share with their family and grow. And that's who you want to sell your house to, right? That's the emotional you, wanting to make sure that whoever buys that house is going to love it just as much as you do. Now, how likely is it, do you think, that whoever ends up buying your house is going to fit that little emotional, pretty card picture that you just made in your mind about selling your house? I mean, I don't have a percentage or an exact figure, but I'm just going to tell you right now, probably none. Nobody. Nobody is you. You are you. And you had your experience. They're going to come in and have their own experience in the house. Okay? Now, maybe you don't want to sell it to an investor who's going to just flip it. Okay? Maybe you don't want to sell it to somebody who's going to rent it out because your community, doesn't want a whole lot of renters coming in. People think like that. But that's not really something you can control, should try to control, because you're going to give yourself a lot of stress for no reason, trying to control what people do with the house once you leave. So think about this. In order to make the process go as smoothly as possible, walk around the house, feel it, feel your emotions, relive your memories, take some final pictures, recount, have a little special like closing out, we're going to sell the house and relive all our memories ceremony with your family. Like, do something to just go ahead and get all your pent up deep down emotions and thoughts about the house out, right? Do that at some point, preferably before you list it for sale. Okay? So then when your real estate agent, who you're going to hire because you don't want to be caught on something that you didn't even know you should be doing, when your real estate agent starts telling you things that are going to help you sell the house quicker and for more money, you're not going to be like, well, we can't do that because, and then go on this whole list of why you can't do it. And every reason that you give is based on an emotion and not a fact. It's based on a preference that you have and not a preference that is popular or desirable for buyers, desirable in the current market that is happening where you live right now. Okay? That's a big ask, right? It's a lot to ask to tell somebody who's lived in a house for 20, 25, 30, however many years, calm your emotions down, take your emotions out of the process of selling your house and just think about it as a transaction. Think about it as a business deal. Be pragmatic, be realistic. Okay. It's difficult. I'm not going to sit here and say that it's not a difficult thing to do, but we don't make guarantees around here. But I can very, very enthusiastically say that if you don't want to change anything about your house that you're trying to sell in order to make your house more desirable to be purchased, then do you really want to sell your house? Because remember what I said before, you're selling the building, the house, the structure, the walls, the floor, the subfloor, the land. You're selling that. You are not selling your memories in the house. You're taking those with you when you go. You are not selling your emotional attachment to the house. Okay? You have to let that go so that you can become attached to the next place that you move to, that a wonderful realtor helps you buy. So what do you think about that? Is it impossible? Is it too much to ask? Is it too hard? Is it going to be a struggle? Probably, yeah. It's probably going to be difficult. It's probably going to take some reminders, some meditation, some deep breathing, some, what do you call that, vision boards, I don't know, some, what's those little dot diaries that you write down your feelings and your emotions and you like color in and chart like how you were today, like, so make you a little graph thing, you know, how emotionally attached to my house am I today, and just chart yourself. Whatever it is that you have to do, get a buddy system. I'm coming out of a career in education, elementary education, so I always think about reward charts and stickers and things like that, you know. But hey, even grown-ups like stickers too. Lots of people like stickers. It's a reward. Stickers are pretty, I'm not even gonna lie. So find a way to reward yourself. You know, get yourself a margarita when you accept the change without fighting it based on an emotional response rather than a pragmatic one. Let's see, what is another example? Let me think. Oh yes, oh yes. Redecorating, making changes in the house before you move. You would think that getting a jump start on decluttering and moving some things out before you sell the house would kind of be like a given, like a no-brainer type of thing. But some people, when they're going to sell their house, they kind of think about it as they want to stage the house and leave it like it is, like they live in it, like they like to experience it. But you have to leave it a blank enough canvas. But okay, so there's like a balance. It has to be, right? A balance between being lived in and showing the possibility to a buyer of what the house could be and what it could look like, versus your very specific, very unique and emotionally tied to you and your life version of how the house is right now. So for example, if you have a room in your house that has a very specific purpose for you in your house, but it's either designed to be something else or it has many more possibilities that it could be for a buyer, but you're attached to it being that and you don't want to change it. So I have a dining room downstairs, like a little formal dining room. It's currently being used as an office. And it's right when you walk in the front door, immediately to the right, there's this room that has the little chandelier there and the little light fixture there, everything that's supposed to go over the table, the dining room table. And now it's just kind of floating there over nothing because I have my desk and my bookshelves and my chairs and all these things set up down there. You could possibly have a music room. You could have your piano, you could have instruments, guitars and things set up in there. And you want to leave it that way. It gives the buyer an idea of what they could do in the room or what they could use that space for. But kind of on the floor plan and in the listing, and when you put it, it's listed as a dining room. So it makes sense to stage it as a dining room, right? That's pragmatic, that's realistic and practical. Show a dining room. because that will show the buyer the intent and the use that can be done in that space. Everybody knows once you buy the house, you can use every room in it for whatever you feel like. We all know that, right? But you just want the buyers to see it and be able to envision it. And if they walk in and it's set up as a music room, they could still say, yeah, you know what, we could use that as a dining room instead. That's probably what it was intended for. But you don't want to make them have to think that much. You don't want to make them have to do the calculations in their head about what the space could be used for, when you could just show them what the space could be used for. Okay? Now, as a seller who's ready to sell it, ready to get out of there, ready to make some money, make it a dining room, boom, boom, be done. As a seller who's attached to the fact that this is what this room is, you're going to bump heads, you're going to drag your feet, you don't want to do it, you don't want to change it around, you're going to argue. In the end, how much difference is it really going to make? I don't know, every transaction is different. Every seller is different, every buyer is different. But any good realtor will tell you that you want to appeal to as many different people and different kinds of people as possible. If you stage it as an office, you're appealing to the people who want to have an office, and only the people who want to have an office. If you stage it as a music room, you're narrowing down your audience, your buyer audience, every time you have something too specific. And it's too specific rather than general and broad, based on your attachment to it being that thing. I hope that makes sense. I kind of ramble sometimes. So I hope that made a little bit of sense, some kind of sense whatsoever. So, wrap up, recap, manage your emotions. You know what? When you manage your emotions, you're managing your expectations also, because in life, in selling your house, in buying a house, in a relationship, in whatever, your emotions will have your expectations all over the place. All over the place. And we want our expectations to be like at a manageable level, right? You know, what is that? Expect the worst, hope for the best. Expect the best, hope for the best. Expect the best, prepare for the worst. It's one of those. It might be all of those. I don't know. Different ones work in different situations. But seriously, it's doable. It's possible. It is possible to pull out and separate the emotion from the transaction. And if you manage to do it, first time home seller, the first time you sell your house, if you manage to sell your first home without becoming an emotional wreck, you get to the end, the part where you do get to get emotional, settlement, when you get the money, which is what you wanted in the first place. And that money either helps you relocate, it helps you upgrade to the bigger house you want, or downgrade to that smaller house or condo so that you can not have to mow grass anymore. And, you know, for every different person that's selling, there's a different reason to sell. There's a different thing you're looking forward to at the end. But everybody's looking forward to the check at the end. And that's, as a seller, that's when you can get emotional. Get as emotional as you want once you get that check. Okay? But try to leave, or at least manage the level of your emotions up until that point. I think that's all I've got for today. I think that was enough. All right, so next time I do this, I don't know when that's going to be. My grand plan was to do like once a week, or maybe twice a week. I don't know. I haven't made up my mind yet. It depends on how stressed I get from doing this one, and then I'll see exactly how much I do or do not want to ever do this again. All right. So thanks for coming and hanging out with me, and we'll see if I ever do this again.